Monday. Welcome to Super Saturday. NRL WA action. The Willagee Bears, you've only missed about a minute of this contest. The very first set of 6, the Bears go the full length of the field to open up a 6-0 lead. We wouldn't be more than 2 minutes in on Donny Bell, joined by Dave McRae. Dave, a real fast start from the high-flying Bears.
Do we expect anything more from the Bears? Yeah, had a few technical issues waiting for the team to turn us on. But it's good to be down in beautiful, warm Rockingham again today for an expected clash, an anticipated clash between these two sides. So, yeah.
Now a penalty to the Bears to compound this. The Sharks, they haven't touched the ball yet. They're looking to avoid 10 straight defeats, the Sharks. They started the season with a win in round 1. They haven't tasted victory since. And behind the 8 ball early. 2 balls on the field. Shaywa Perry take the tap. And first tackle will be inside the Sharks' half as they look to extend this lead very early in the game. Mahuta plays it. Shizuni a dummy half. The ball hits the deck, picked up by Kelly. Great hands, comes back infield. Got on the loose ball, but was met solidly and put away by Bolth. They try and get heading back in the right direction. It's Chan Boone. Gudgeon, Kelly again off the hands, puts it down, cleaned up by Hoff. So the Sharks, they get their first use of the ball. It's Damien Worth, driven backwards. Fotu flopped in late, got away with it. Now Siddons. They try and work him over, but he finds his front. They just hit that one on the ad line through both. Simple set first up from the Sharks. They'll get to their kick. So nothing expansive. They just wanted to get through their first set, Rockingham. You'll see some expansive stuff, though, from the Bears as Cam. He's put down. Going across with Kazus. Now the Bears getting through this set. Now Gudgeon going across, looking for a runner. Oh. Finds a great line into space, drawing past. He says, "I don't need you, Kainor."
Oh,
he runs away from him and bombs
falls over.
Hanson Bond. Gudgeon, he gets out a dummy half. They go across now to Tierney. Tierney for the line, reaches out, slams it down. They only delayed the inevitable by 1 play. And it's Tomaho Tierney that gets across to make it 10-0 kick to
I'll
cut.
tell you what, that's one of the worst cases of white line fever I've seen for a while. There's only one place he wanted to go. Almost cost his team. They managed to clean it up in the end.
Jackson Hanson Bond, he hit a great line off Gudgeon. Just needed to draw and pass the fullback. I think he overestimated his own speed there, Bond. Geez, it was a powerful line to begin with. The next play, Gudgeon gets out a dummy half. Picks up his halves partner, Tomaho Tierney, who crashes over. John Leota, the first try scorer for the Bears. but we missed. And that was a long-range effort down that left-hand side. So that looks to be where they're going to attack. Hit that area hard. It's Tierney. More difficult attempts than his first. Moves in. Raises the flags. It's 12 points to 0. Here at Franklin Offshore Stadium. Round 11 of the Fuel to Go and Play Premiership.
Around the grounds, thanks to Cash Converters. We were discussing off air why the North Beach South Perth Lions score was 0-all. At one point it said 32-0. 32-0. It's now changed. It's now 10-0. to the
We're not
to
sure.
North,
So in
to
other
North
words,
Beach.
we've got no idea what
Got
the
no
actual
idea.
score is, that one.
But looks like North Beach have gone over twice early in the second half for a 10-point advantage, and the Roosters are leading. Well, no, full time. They've beaten them. So look, this game's important, I guess, from the Bears' perspective. They want to keep in touch with the top three. So if the Beach can tell up the Lions, it opens up some spots potentially. The ladder-leading Lions, and it could be two in a row actually for the Lions if they keep beating here.
Yes, certainly. I mean, a bit to go in that game as
I'm just getting excited.
work out exactly what the score line is in that one. But yeah, 32-12 though, the Fremantle Roosters over the Joondalup Giants. We're pretty confident that is correct. An error there. So a nice around the corner pass from Fotu, or at least it looked nice, but the referee said it's forward, and the Sharks, their best attacking chance of this game. Down 12-0. Lawton from the scrum wing. Off to the right, Siddons to the left. They hang around too long in the ruck and give away the penalty. Chan Boone, tap and go from Worth. He goes to Siddons. They want to get on with it. Put down onto his back, Siddons. That doesn't happen often. Now turned underneath to Bolf. Bolf also onto his back, so slows it down. Christie goes to the left. Quinlan holds it up. Wood. Oh, he gets put down pretty fiercely by Mahuta.
Okay.
And he's going to say beyond the horizontal. Quinlan, they come to the middle. Siddons hands that on to Ramaka. Tip on play. Siddons, crash play this time. Gets the pass away back to Christie, and Christie knocks on. They're just forcing it early in the count, trying to create some second phase. Just put Lachlan Christie under too much pressure. The Bears hold on. Although that early in the count, I don't know that they were stretched too thinly. Gudgeon feeds the scrum, goes to Tierney. They're up quickly there, the Sharks. Make sure they take him to ground as late as possible. Oh! Shot there from Quinlan, sneaking up a little high for Dave McRae's liking.
Doesn't need a head, it's fine.
Well, referee says collarbone. This is some good first contact from both. Chan Boone gets to his feet. Chizuni out of dummy half. Work the short side. Tierney has a little bit of a step and finds some space now with Waperi. Waperi has got the fullback to beat, steps in field, and Lawton makes the tackle. He does get up high.
Wants to go quick, won't allow that.
No quick.
That was on last too, wasn't it? So
yes,
took the risk there. Great run.
Well, they were forced to run it on last with the line speed from the Sharks, and geez, I reckon that's a harsh penalty. He's gone up over the shoulder.
Yeah, I actually think that's. I thought the last one was worse than that. Yeah. So
that was a safe play penalty in juniors, but I don't think here in the Fuel to Go and Play Premiership over the shoulder. Seatbelt tackle. Perhaps looked worse than it was from the referee's angle, but the Bears look to take advantage of it. Dummying on the outside, Thompson, and he gets caught high again. Siddons again claiming it was across the chest, not the throat.
Now he's set the bar, so now you know what you need or what you shouldn't need to do. So we'll just hope it's consistent from here.
Boone starts the set. Siddons works him over the top. Kazuni at dummy half. Dummies goes, drops it. It's going to be another penalty to the Bears, so I think that one just reaching around the play of the ball.
That was the signal, wasn't it?
Slapping down at the arm. So it's been a few penalties in a row. It's now with Bond. Bond. Gudgeon swept around to the left. He saw something. That's what he saw. He saw a big weakness and slices through. Well, that was too easy for Kainor Gudgeon. 16-0 kick to cup.
It was too easy, but when you're given back-to-back penalties when you're in your 5, at some point something's got to break, and it broke on the left. Big gap there. The Bears are doing what we expected them to do, but I didn't expect them to be going more than a point a minute, if I'm honest. Although it is early.
They're flying at the moment. And again, good vision, really, from Gudgeon. You saw he was over on the right-hand side, and just before the play of the ball, he sprinted as fast as he could to get across to the left. And saw some numbers. The Sharks tried to adjust.
Just experience and...
experience and class.
Yeah,
so it's a pretty good combination.
You could build experience. Class, that's, you know, it's a debate whether you could build that. I think you're born with that.
So referee already stretching out the calves early. Tierney. There's plenty of height on it. Gets some height on the flags as well as they both go up, and it's 18 points to 0.
See it again, yeah.
See, Damien Worth was trying to work hard to close down the space. And
some of that body language as well, Don. It doesn't look good early. There's a few just... I'm not a lip reader, but a few comments from the Sharks to each other. You've got to work as a team. There's no point blaming someone for a gap. Gap is a collective thing.
The Bears working it out from their end after more points. Now Gudgeon goes to the line, goes across to Kelly. Kelly goes out wider. Some room now for Leota. Leota dummies on the inside, runs over the top of one, runs over the top of two. And big Johnny Leota, he's going all the way in. He can't get the pass away at the end.
Winged.
Cam out of dummy half, goes for the line, reaches out, the ball comes free, lost, play on. And the referee's going to say comes out to the 20. No advantage. So they'll get the 7-tackle set. So lucky to survive there, Rockingham. It's Johnny Leota. Tore them to shreds there. And as well as the 7-tackle set, now they get the penalty. Piggyback out of their own end. To halfway. Almost standing still there, Siddons, you got the ball. And Quinlan. Quinlan dummies to the first, underneath to Ramika. Quick play the ball. Christie takes off. Bond makes the tackle, but good meters from Christie. And another penalty, and again slow. Peter Worth takes the quick tap. He's allowed to. Siddons. He's put down. Play it back to Quinlan. Now Bolth. Bolth towards the line. The Bears get numbers in there. Push him backwards into the field of play. He stares it down, Camso on the bounce to Worth. Worth chopped down around the bootlaces. Little grass cutter, the ball comes free. It's lost of his own accord. Peter Worth has a chat to the referee, saying something along the lines of how that got helped out. The referee's not going to change his call. The Sharks will hand over the ball to the Bears. Kazus comes in for a carry, and the Sharks offside from the scrum. Puts that into touch. So he's got to come up to where the touch judge is to take the tap. So on the second attempt, he gets the right spot. They go a couple wide to the middle of the field. Bolth and Ramaker in the tackle on Fotu. Well, he's been red hot on the slowing down of the ruck.
I like that. That's good. Again, set the tone. I don't think it favours Rockingham, though, because we know the Bears want to go. They're a very quick team. They want to open them up with their speed. So, but again, he's set the scene, so you've got to play to that.
Camso comes across to the middle with Shanboon. They've done that every tap so far. Now with Thompson. And the ball comes free. Christie comes up with the ball. Just lost it. Referee agrees. Ramaker, he's driven backwards. Well, that's good defence here from the Bears. Rungy Thompson drove him backwards about 15 metres, and Ramaker's going to come back to where the referee called held. No reward for a dominant tackle there, really, from the Bears. Now Quinlan. Comes a runner underneath Emery. Now they go across to Wood. Wood's chopped down low. Siddons to Bolth. Bolth, he looks to leak the buck up with Siddons. The front rowers combine, and then Damien Worth gets involved. Quick play the ball. Christie works back to the left. Quinlan, he's going to put the bomb up. Emery chasing through. He taps it backwards. Wood picks it up. I think they've got 6 more. The referee waves 6 again. They've got another full set, so they settle back down. Quinlan, show, go! Didn't find a runner on the inside. He dummied to a bear. Christie crashing in behind the ruck. Antonelli!
I think he's dropped it.
Held up.
No.
He's going to say knocked on.
Yep. Thought he lost it. That was the best run of play they've had in the first 20 minutes, though.
Well, and strangely, it comes from some interplay, a bit of ball play from the front rowers.
Yeah, there's a bit of imagination there, a bit of inventiveness.
Chris Siddons tip on to Ben Bolth, and Then Siddons with the runaround, the old-fashioned runaround. And then on the back of that, they get a repeat set. But a couple of plays later, drop the ball just short of the line.
Oh,
and now the pass to Kelly. Kelly lost that. I thought he dropped that onto the back of Lachlan Christie before getting it back. Not picked up by the officials. And again.
Yeah, well done, boys, well done.
Gudgeon. Hanson Bond. And there with Edwards. Tierney. Juggle. They managed to get it back. Around the halfway line. Tierney. Just goes to the sky. Lawton takes it comfortably. And then attacks. Lawton, he's beaten a couple, he's beaten a third. Up to the 40-metre line. Good counter-attack from Kieran Lawton. Chan Boone. Reefing at that ball. Antonelli. Gudgeon, Hanson Bond make the tackle. Tiona on a dummy half. Siddons goes through Camso. Camso just holds on to one boot and then pulls at the leg, gives away the penalty. Damien Worth optimistically points 10 for 10 minutes. Tirona through. He's looking for a support runner, can't find anyone. Plays it quickly. Again, they look to go out a dummy half, trying to crash over through Antonelli. He can't do so. Hoff on the crash play. It goes out the back of him. Turned underneath now to Siddons. Siddons spinning towards the line, backing towards the line. Held up over the line. He'll go back 10 metres. Worth. Out the back to Lawton. Lawton, that was read well by Gudgeon. And again, too slow in the ruck.
Another 6.
You said that the Bears would benefit from the faster rucks. At the moment, they're trying to slow it down and giving away a few penalties.
Well, I think that the Sharks have adjusted well. The referee set the scene and they're like, okay, we'll play to that game. That's fine.
Quinlan goes across to Wood. Wood has the arm free. Thought about something speculative. Quinlan works down a short side, burrowing in low. But has he got a piece of the line? The touch judge says yes, absolutely. Kiowa Scott, he just wanted it more. And he got a piece of chalk to get the Sharks on the board.
I'll tell you what, the last 4 or 5 minutes, the Sharks have actually made the Bears look quite average. This has been a fantastic run of play. As you mentioned, the first one led by the forwards, but they just, at some point, someone's gone, hey, let's just play some Bears footy. Let's throw that back at them. This run and gun, this quick play on, quick play the ball, quick ball movement, spread it out, hit the line. It's been fantastic. Let's hope they keep going with it.
Well, certainly got themselves on the board. 20. Well, I don't know that the clock on the screen is 100% accurate. Might be a couple of minutes out.
Maybe 60 seconds, possibly.
26, 27 minutes in, maybe. We'll see where we're at. But conversion attempt from the sideline when you've given up an 18-point start. Goal kicking is important. He's enjoying the chat from the sideline. A bit of a smile as he moves in.
Good kick.
And he'll let him know that he's kicked it as well. He's still engaging in a bit of chat. So we have another look at Scott just getting in low, getting the better of his opposite number. He's clearly on the ground. The only question was whether it got to the line, and the touch judge in the perfect position to determine that.
And there was nothing fancy either. Just, as you mentioned, getting low, burrowing down, hitting towards the knees and legs. There'd be a few players in that position that would lose their head and try and do something a bit silly. But also it keeps his, for those kids watching at home, have they gone out? It has to. Keeps his centre of gravity low as well, so the ability to then push him out is also somewhat negated as well.
Well, I often fear for the health of coaches. When something like that happens just after
needs to be like
scored points.
Like a helpline, you know? The coach killing helpline, because that was a coach killer.
Because the coach out there in the middle, so I don't know that it was entirely his fault, but it's hard to die when you've got to defend, because here come the Bears with Edwards. Edwards put down centre field, 10 out, Camso goes to Thompson. Thompson dummies to the outside, goes himself, takes on the line, tries to roll over, has lost the ball, I think. Stripped out.
So another 6 as a penalty. Well, when they get the ball, they're always looking dangerous. So the key is just to keep the ball out of their hands. I know that sounds stupid, but
Hanson Bond is just going to go straight
dangerous.
Over. Well, I don't know that you need to look too dangerous when the defence is that flimsy. That was just bouncing off Jackson Hanson Bond. He is difficult to handle. He is very strong, powerful upper body. Just bounces straight off.
And I think he was always going to the left. Sorry, to the right. He was always going to the right. The duck into the left, take out that that tackler. Hit him in that. It was going to open up that position on the right. So good footwork as well. He knew he wanted the right side of the post, and that's where he was going. As soon as he got the ball in hand, too strong.
Yeah, generally, I think the first contact from Rockingham's been very good in this game so far. But yeah, on that occasion, Lewis Hoff just got bounced off. And one missed tackle was all it took for the defence to break down. A very, very soft try after just getting themselves on the board. It's going to be a frustration for, well, not just the Sharks coaching staff, but the fans watching on NRL pathways. As Tierney pilots that through, and it's 24 points to 6. Franklin Offshore scoreboard.
So again, just before this, I just finished saying you give them the ball in hand, they're always going to be dangerous. So that period of 4 or 5 minutes where Rocco looked really good, playing a bit of Bears-esque football, quick play the balls, quick ball movement, spread it. It was because they denied the Bears' use of that ball. And they also got, I think they frustrated him a bit as well, because they got the benefit of a few penalties. So back to that coach killer. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Well, the Bears, they don't do it to their coach. They secure possession from the kickoff. Now look to complete after points. Which is a task many struggle with, but a penalty will help.
Yeah. Something that I think we mentioned a few times, well, not recently, but I'm really liking the referee ranks this year. So there's a lot of young referees across, not just the field to go play Premiership, but also the Westpac Women's Premiership. We've got a lot of youth coming up in the ranks, which is good to see. Last week, Don, when you were off, saw old Liam Noonan running around. First time I'd seen him all year. So no disrespect to Liam, but it's good to see that he obviously isn't being required to be out there every single week. He can do some coaching duties, etc. And we've got some youngsters now coming up the ranks to lead in front with the whistle.
Yeah, certainly great to see some youth in the refereeing ranks as Thompson goes to Hanson Bond, tips out onto Edwards and loses the ball. That ball came free. He has held on to it. Gudgeon fires a bullet and picks him off. Well, what a ball! What an absolutely magical ball, and Rockingham, the recipient. Well, wouldn't you love to be on the end of a ball player of the quality of Kynor Gudgeon?
Oh, just shebang. Just, I tell you what. Poetry. Poetry. Just beautiful. And look, the pass was sublime, but you also, it's not an easy one to catch on the fly. You know, he would have been puffing down that left edge, and that the timing for both the pass and the run to hit him, you know, take it clean. You know, it's poetry in motion. It's wonderful to watch, and it's just this Bear side when they're up and about doing that. They're just so fun to watch.
They've got a lot of. Well, they've got a lot of everything.
Yeah,
the Bears.
Yeah.
They have power. They have skill. They have speed,
strength.
They've got it all. And they've got resilience. So we've seen them in games that where it gets tough, they don't quit. Yeah. So that they've got a little bit of everything, the Bears.
And it is. I mentioned this before. As a club, obviously, their women are doing very similar things. It is fantastic to see. You know, of course, it is the year of the Bear. Or it'll be the year of the Bear next few years. But the kudos to the club, kudos to the officials. We know that Willagee, you know, they've been up and down over a period, but they've obviously done some really, really good work to build these two fantastic teams, build some great culture, and they're playing some bloody good footy.
They certainly are. They're fun to watch, fun to call. I don't know that the Rockingham Sharks are having a lot of fun watching them. But
well, again, just, you know, don't give them the ball. But it's tough when you don't touch it yourself. So.
Bring it back to halfway for the kickoff. Sidestepping a few players, they eventually are able to get onto it. Kazoo's driven backwards. He gets up to go again after he was tackled, so I think he'll be sent back to where that initial tackle was completed. Israel. Now it's Mahuta working out of the corner. Edwards. Eventually put to the ground. Now Gudgeon goes to Chizuni. Gudgeon felt like that was a little high. And Peter Worth, again, just worked him over on the ground, made the tackle.
You're not giving, you're just asking for it, aren't you, really? I mean...
Well, I mean, the referee has been... He's been so strict in the ruck. If you're going to put in that little bit, that extra effort where he just flops down. And he's been red hot on it. Like he like you say, he has been consistent. So you've got to give the referee what he wants. If you don't want to give away the penalty,
I'll be honest, that particular vision, I mean, on all forms of leg, that sort of play infuriates me because he was second in the tackle. He's jumped, so he's getting up, he's jumped on him, and then he's flopped on him. So, let's get that out of the game.
Camso fired one at Gudgeon, who puts it down. The Sharks come up with it through George Hoff. Antonelli over the top of Camso. Now looking to go through the middle. The leg lifted up. Chilorona asking for his instructions. He goes for a run himself. He didn't like the call that he got. Picks up a good 7 or 8 metres, and now it's the Bears that spend too long in the ruck, late in the tackle count. Chilorona takes the quick tap and he's off. I'm not sure that he'd run 10 before he was chopped down by Camso. The referee wasn't back 10, so happy to let it go. Siddons. Slow play the ball. Quinlan Double pumped, gives it now to Wood. Wood towards the line before he gets picked up. Driven backwards and thrown down. Quinlan slows it down before going. Again, 4 Bears hold him up. Keep him in the field of play. Siddons gets that out and Hoff!
Bang.
Gets across the line. Well, that's the short passing in around the middle of the ruck from Chris Siddons that seems to be causing the Bears some problems.
And you give him use of the ball, and you deny it to the Bears. Look what happens.
Well, Lewis Hoff, he'll really enjoy that. It was him that missed the tackle up the other end on Jackson Hanson Bond. He repays his teammates by getting one back. And I tell you, it's not a bad place to be running off the shoulder of Chris Siddons.
100%. Around the grounds, thanks to Cash Converters, looks like North Beach have secured or will secure the points against South Perth. Last update, Justin Buckley went in on the 74th minute to extend the lead 16-6. And that would have been a few minutes ago. So they should be wrapping that up. So that's the second loss in a row for the league leaders.
Well, they're not the league leaders anymore.
Not anymore, no. And the Beach, they'll be jumping up, won't they, over the top of them?
They will. They're level on points at the moment. For and against kept South Perth on top. But that was the fight for top spot.
Yeah.
Successful conversion. Here it's 30 points to 12. The Bears over the Sharks. Not too far away from half time. We see Lewis Hoff again. Goes over for the Sharks second. Around the grounds, courtesy of Cash Converters. Some of the other results. And last night, the Westpac Women's Premiership. Another very good clash between the Fremantle Roosters and the Willagee Bears. 8-6 to the Roosters, while the Joondalup Giants beat the Kalamunda Bulldogs 50 points to 4 to keep the Doggies winless, but 50 to 4. It's actually the closest the Dogs have got so far this season. Right out of dummy half, and again coming up with the ball from the kick-off, the Bears. Now Thompson. Come across to Gudgeon. Gudgeon again fires it out. Early ball to Leota. Leota goes in field to Kelly. Kelly bounces away from 1, 2. Now he's going to kick across towards the winger. The bounce important. Tapped away. Well, Scott saves the day and prevents points on the siren. They hold on to keep it at 18 points at the break. It is at halftime, the Willagee Bears leading 30 points to 12. They came out of the blocks fast, Willagee. Rockingham, they've worked themselves into the contest somewhat. If they can be first to score in the second half, they'll be right back in this.
Well, I think that for me, it's a simple contest here. 1, stop giving away the ball, stop the penalties, and 2, when you've got the ball, don't give it away. Just maintain possession. The 2 or 3 times, I mean, they've only really had 2 opportunities, or maybe 3. Every single time, if they've scored twice, they've looked like they're likely to score within 10. They're causing the Bears, as you rightly pointed out, they're causing the Bears some issues. So there's a template there for success to build on in the second half. The simple things like the discipline, get rid of the penalties, maintain the ball, don't assist your coach's hair loss strategy.
Well, plenty of rugby league still to be played in the second 40. It is the Bears leading 30 points to 12, but don't go anywhere. Big second half coming up. See you in about 10 minutes. G'day ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for the second half. It's round 11, fuel the go and play Premiership match between the Willagee Bears and the Rockingham Sharks. The third place Bears up against the home team. Sixth place, last place Rockingham Sharks. It is the Bears leading 30 points to 12. Dave McRae, as I said just before half time, if the Sharks can score first, I think they're right back in this game.
Well, let's hope they can. They just got to. They've got first use it here. They've just got to maintain possession. See how they go.
Great first contact, Bond and Hoff. They've had a bit of a running battle in that first half. I'd say it's 1-1 so far. Bond putting a good shot on to start the second half. Tirona, he's made a bit of a difference since he's come on. His running game out of dummy half. He's asked some questions. Siddons, as he is pretty much every week, one of the Sharks' best. Little ball playing in around the middle of the ruck has caused some problems for the Bears as they get through their first set, get to their kick. Kelly, we're not used to seeing games where he doesn't break it open at some point. He's looked lively, as he always is. Hasn't really busted it open just yet. Yeah, they go very close to the sideline here, the Bears.
Going to rule her out.
The touch judge was standing right over the top of it. And now the penalty for the high shot.
Well, a bit of deja vu all over again. They completed, their first use of the ball was pretty good, but then they've gone and done that. So
Kearney, he gets some. That's a good touch finder. Well, it puts the Bears down in a very good attacking position. A chance to go a step towards wrapping this up pretty early. Bang. Bond. Hard to get to ground every time. Camso dummies to the blind side. Goes in behind the ruck, tries to duck underneath the tackler Hoff. Siddons gets in to help him. Bond to Tierney. Underneath him to Cameron. Mahuta.
Ball out.
The ball comes out. Stripped one-on-one by Tierney after the knock on. I'm going to say no advantage from the Mahuta.
Oh, and it's on. Here's my recipe for beef Wellington. What about yours? Two smallest blokes on the field have a cuddle. I like that.
They did. There was Kyle Scott.
So it's part there. Just I think it was a palm to the face. It's like I've got this new scent. Just want to try it out. You could have a whiff of that.
Well, at the end of all that, the Sharks will get the scrum feed. No advantage. And a little exchange of pleasantries. Duty-free cents. He's just allowed to stand. Again, getting tangled up in the ruck has been unacceptable in this contest. So the Sharks get the penalty and help out of their end. Up towards halfway with the touch finder. Comes into Hoff. Hoff, they come towards the middle. Siddons to Lewis Hoff. Lewis in the middle and George on the edge in the centres. Siddons again through the middle. No one off his shoulder that time. Tirona out of dummy half. Just a step past Edwards. And holds on. But still some decent post-contact metres. Quinlan goes to Antonelli. Hard and straight. Flung down by Mahuta. Plays it back now, Quinlan to Siddons. Worth rolls it in behind. Was their hands involved? Referee says all legs. Picked up and go. Gam into the backfield. He's pulled down from behind by Wood, and that forces the error, and they come from everywhere, the Sharks, to congratulate Wood.
There's nothing wrong with that. That was a great chase, especially given the person that was carrying the ball. So let's have a look at this. Oh, I can't tell. Oh, we were blindsided, Don. But this is a great chase. Fantastic chase. Came in from last week, says, get some of that. Have you had a mustard on it?
Well, the Sharks will get the scrum feed. Quinlan. Now it's with Wood. Wood breaks through a couple of tackles. Well, he made the tackle just a moment ago. Now he's busting a few of his own. Now coming back in behind the ruck goes Emery. He's looking to set the platform. Christie to Quinlan. Quinlan dummy, show and go. Bond just launches himself Superman style into that tackle. Now Emery put down. Gets a little bit of roughage as well. Christie from dummy half. The ball to Quinlan. Again, dummied on the outside and has to take on the line himself. Tackle 5. Gonna look for another kicking option. Christie across. Slipping over and offloaded straight to his opposite number. And now Leota fends away from one. Can they get him from behind? Johnny Leota! He's getting away from them! Big Johnny Leota! He's shown speed that a man that size should not possess. They go 80 metres to score, and they blow this apart. 34-12, kick to come.
The Sharks were oh so close on 5th. That was the pass that didn't need to happen. But he outpaces 3 of them. Three players, 3 Sharkies that, by all measures, should have significant more speed than he does. I tell you what, I've said this on a game last week. Clip this, put it on repeat for the rest of the season. Show that at the club best and fairest, just on repeat. I like it. He's just bashful though. He's not getting too excited. He's like, mate, just workmanlike.
Johnny Leota does this every day, mate. He scores 80-metre tries for fun. He's had a great season. He's been a big part of the Bears' success so far in 2025. Readmission into the top grade. Well, you were waxing lyrical earlier, Dave, about the amount of work that has gone in behind the scenes to make the Bears not just be the 6th team, but to be a competitive team. Yeah. They've done a remarkable job. There's plenty of people that deserve a pat on the back, but they're not ready for that.
There's possibly a new franchise called the Bears that might actually want to head down to Willagee to say, hey, boys and girls, good work. How did you do it? You got any tips for us? So say it again. Just put this on repeat. This is fantastic.
Breakthrough one, and
for a big fella, just the speed here. And this is where he just goes bang. Extra gear. He still maintains eyesight to his right as well, just in case he needed it. Had good support. I didn't actually pick up the number there with his runner, but there was the motion. Keep going, son. Keep going. It's all yours.
You got this. Now off the back fence come the Bears. We're up to a 36-12 lead. Trying to work through this set. Well, around the grounds, courtesy of Cash Converters, we've had some confusion with the scoreline from between North Beach and South Perth, but it looks as though the Sea Eagles have won that one very comfortably. 44-6 was the latest scoreline that we had from that one. So Still awaiting final confirmation.
Well, we can confirm
they
have. I think we can confirm that they have won. It's just a matter of how much.
Well, that would be a huge win.
That's
great hands there from Lawton. That was a towering bomb from Tierney. He's one of the best in the business between Tierney and Sonny Kerr. I'd love to see which one of them gets more height, because they're probably the two best that we've got in Western Australia. Benny Bolt gets up to the halfway line, wanted to quick play the ball, gets it. Now it's with Scott. Scott put down by Camso. Siddons tipping that onto Antonelli. That time the little tip on didn't work. It was read by Michael Fotu, who jammed up into Antonelli's ribs. Comes back to Quinlan under some pressure. Good line speed from the Bears. Taken by Kelly. Good, even up 36-12. Still doing those little 1%ers, getting off the line and putting pressure on the kicker. Oh, a negative 1%er there from Kazus, who had to do a 360, a little pirouette before he picked the ball up from dummy yards.
It wasn't a great play the ball, let's be honest.
Gam. Now comes back to Tierney, who's going to... Oh! That one's charged down. That one was a bullet into a head. Not sure what the ruling is from the referee. The long pass comes across to Gudgeon. Gudgeon goes to Leota. He again steamrolls over one, offloads, and that one hits the deck. Pick up, counter-attack! Chopped down from behind by Chizuni is Emery. Quick play the ball, Siddons dummies to the outside, bounces off one, spins away from Thompson. Onto his front, plays it back, Christie out of dummy half. He goes to Bolt. Bolt had the arm free, thought about flicking it out of the back, but holds onto it. Siddons goes to Antonelli, uses a bit of footwork at the line. Tackle from Waperi. Christie again to Siddons, and Siddons crashes over. Well, Chris Siddons, he had 4 runs in that set of 6, and he did something different each time. And the Bears, they just don't know what he's going to do. He's a halfback in a front rower's body, and he scores a good try for the Rockingham Sharks.
He was always unstoppable there. But again, this is how many times have they been inside that last 5? Not many opportunities, but when they are there, they score. So they've got the talent up front. And when you've got someone that can have 4 carries in a set and do something different every single time, that variation is always going to be difficult to deal with. So defensively, that's where they've got to start their work. Ball in hand, some discipline, working on defence. But, is the door slightly ajar once they score this? I'm not sure.
Well, it's time enough. The question is whether they can be disciplined enough for long enough to...
Well, they've got try for try this half.
They have, yes.
So, like you highlighted, Don, just discipline. Do they have the discipline? Do they have the belief?
Well, so far we've got 54 points in 53 minutes, so an 18-point margin in 25 minutes or so is plenty of time.
Doable. Easy as.
Antonelli with a strong game. Plays it back to Quinlan. Picks up Ransfield. Christie, got a dummy half. Goes to Scott. Built low to the ground. Kiowa Scott. Ramika. Reefing at that one a little bit there, Michael Fotu, and doesn't rip it out though, luckily for the Bears perhaps. They get to their kick, the Sharks, down to Kazus. Kazus runs into trouble, runs into a shoulder, hits a brick wall and knocks it on. Well, heavy contact. We have another look on the fuel to go and play replay. It's Benny Bolt that puts the shot on, forces the error. Gives the Sharks a great opportunity to go back to back. Something they haven't done so far in this game. Worth feeds the scrum. Christie from the base. Goes to Lawton. Lawton tries to use some footwork. Chizuni chops him down low. Now Bolt. Straight and hard into Fotu. Looks up to the referee for some help. Siddons dummies to the outside. Spins out of the tackle of Fotu, but the reinforcements drag him down without another metre. Christie steps out of dummy half, goes to Quinlan. Now it comes out to Wood. Wood dummies, goes himself. The cover!
Dropped it.
The cover defence getting across there. Shea Waperi, he was desperate to prevent that try, and he does.
I think that's probably the difference between the two sides at the moment. In that last line, again, you mentioned the Sharks have been challenged a few times. Sorry, the Bears have been challenged by the Sharks, especially deep in their own end. But that desperation in the last line.
The Bears, they'll get the scrum feed. After that great try saver from Waperi. Prevented the Sharks from closing the gap. It remains 36-18 on the Franklin Offshore scoreboard. Chizuni takes it forward. They get to the kick through Tierney. Drives it long and straight down the middle. Lawton, he's looked dangerous at times. Brings that one back at pace. A little bit of footwork at the line, but they make the tackle with the first attempt. Hoff, George Hoff taking a hit up. Told to go back where the referee called him hurled. He kept trying to punch it forward. Lawton catching that one flat-footed. The Bears off their line quickly. Now they're trying to find some momentum in this set as Damien Worth put down all over the ball there, Camso. Siddons dummies to the outside. Ben Bolt almost makes a tackle on his teammate. Comes back to Quinlan to test out the fullback. It's going to be allowed to bounce. We've got a whistle here. So the Sharks in front of the kicker offside. It's a silly one to give away, really. Wasn't any real pressure or need to be inside 10 from that kick, so
it's not gone out. No, it has gone out. Or just.
So they've got a touch on that before it's gone out, so it should be a play the ball rather than a tap. Come over to the middle for the play of the ball. It does create a bit of confusion.
It's always great to have a former referee in the commentary ranks.
Tip on, Chizuni goes through, and Gudgeon, what a play, little catch pass. Derek Chizuni loves it.
What a ball. What an offload. There was clearly a set play there. And I love the little afters tee, Don. You know, bit of spit and polish rubbed into it. Have a look at this. Bang!
Well, Kynor Gudgeon, we've talked a little bit about his class throughout the game.
Lovely.
He shows plenty of it there.
They're just fun to watch. When they're up and about, they are fun to watch.
Well, because last time, I think it was last time we covered Rockingham, Derek Chizuni was playing for the Sharks. And so he's must have beaten the June 30 deadline, changing clubs mid-season. So that's why he would really have enjoyed getting that try against his his former club.
He liked that one, there's no doubt about that. It's like he'll be clipping that one as well.
I think in the commentary box we tried to keep this contest alive, but I think that's right. That pretty much puts it to sleep as a contest now. It's just a matter of pride for the Sharks, you would think. Still 20 minutes to go, but at 42-18.
There's a team that we call up north, Don, called the Darwin Brothers, and there's sometimes I feel there's some similarities between these two sides, because they could just from nothing just turn it on, just create something from nothing. They could be, you know, maybe they could be down on possession, maybe give up a few, and then just like that, just out of nowhere, bang.
Get the chance once again to see if they can create something from nothing in this set. The Sharks kick long. They get numbers in that first tackle. Showing they're not going away. They're going to keep working hard for each other through this final 20. Bransfield and Bolt making that tackle. Thompson, Gudgeon. And looks to the outside, but one of the first plays he's had so far today that didn't turn to goal. Chizuni claiming a second effort from Christie. I don't know that he agrees, but Chizuni had got back to his feet, was entitled to play the ball, and whether he lost his balance or got tangled up or not, he's knocked him to the ground again. Referee, he's been consistent throughout this 62 minutes.
I've just seen it on the replay screen. He's drawn Christie into that. He was in the wrong position to begin with. He wasn't lingering.
Failed to find touch, so they've threatened to fail to find touch a couple of times. Tierney's biting off as much as he can chew, but finally he's full. Doesn't find the sidelines for the Sharks. And a player offside, put his hands up after he got involved. And Lawton.
Okay, we got some.
Well, we've look who's talking. Rockingham edition.
Just one of the young fans down there.
Good morning to you. Yep, there we go. Doesn't have a watch. It's now the Sharks with Christie. Goes to Worth. Worth spins out of one, gets it back to Christie. Christie now takes on the line. Put down, rolling away. There's Gams. Siddons. Siddons dummies on the outside to Worth. Held up in the tackle. Cameron makes it. Now with Quinlan. Quick tip on from Lawton, and it comes out to Wood, and a strip one-on-one from Tierney, and the Sharks have dived on it.
Is that the second time that's happened?
Well, he's lost it over the line. I wouldn't mind seeing a replay as to whether this... I thought this was stripped one-on-one by Tamaho Tierney. Coming across in cover, plays at the ball.
Yes.
I don't know whether he was trying to reef the arm free or... Difficult to tell. The referee saying he's just lost it of his own accord. Siddons staying down in the ruck. I don't think the replay supported my view there. I think he did just drop it.
Well, you mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, Don. It's a great comment, and I'll use it for the rest of my life. You do have the right to maintain control. You do have, what is it? Yeah, you've got the right. Oh, I forget. See, I mucked it up already.
Bears. They get a 7-tackle set from that, so they'll get down into a decent attacking position as they try and force a pass out here from Fotu, but he decides the better option is to hold on to it. Comes to Tierney. Going across, looks to straighten up now. Gudgeon, he's going backwards, trying to run backwards away from Ben Bolt.
It's a good read from Bolt.
Fast enough to catch him when he's going backwards. Thompson, well that was way too easy. He takes on the fullback. Worth tries hard, but he gets it down.
Just.
Ruggie Thompson, well, I don't know, how did he get through there in the first instance?
There was just a slight, they're having a cuddle. There was just a slight dummy to his left. A little bit of a movement just to his left. Probably all he needed. We'll see it again. Just there. Just there. So, sold it well enough. There's plenty of crowd it's coming in from Willagee. Made the trip down south there, enjoying it. Seeing it again, yeah, just a slight.
I was going to say it's not the biggest trip that we've got in Western Australia, going from Willagee to Rockingham. But you see on the sideline there's plenty of the Bears faithful. We follow.
One thing about Rockingham, I'll say one thing about Rockingham. I like the fence, that you can lean over the fence. It's something, you know, it's a traditional footy ground, yeah? Leaning over the fence, watching your team or the opposition, having a few words, whether of encouragement or of, you know, some tips, especially when the opposition is kicking for points or something.
Something similar at Dorian Gardens that we've seen in the grand finals.
There's something to be said about the fence.
Nobody spitting venom right now. But Tamaho Tierney, as he moves in, continues to raise the flags. I tell you, the goal kicking's been good today. Good. I don't think we've highlighted that enough. It's both exceptional. Both goal kickers perfect so far.
Yeah, there was just that fade, that dummy to his left. That's all he needed, and then just to hold the ball and bang down. You go. Thank you very much. Certainly like that one.
48-18. Favour of the Bears over the Sharks. Rockingham get us back underway. Down to Leota. He's been a handful, gets tipped into an awkward position there. I don't think there was any malice in the tackle, but certainly to a dangerous position. Penalty is awarded. Gudgeon, make sure of this touch finder. So taps, gives it to Leota on the short side. A quick play the ball. So now they come towards the middle. Out the back goes to Gudgeon. And now hitting the hole, Fotu with the arm free. Can't get it around the corner to Cameron. They look to reset, reload straight away. And going through the middle of the field with Chan Boone. Camso to dummy half. Gudgeon again. Goes to Tierney. Tierney fires the long ball. I'm waiting for somebody to come into screen that's in a Bears jersey, but no one does.
Well, there's plenty of Bears colours over there. Maybe he got confused.
He found a friend in the crowd, you reckon?
Possibly. No, look, it's really great to see that they're travelling. So their crowds at home have been good as well.
Quinlan tips that on to Worth. He's tried hard as usual. Siddons. Peter Worth now to Bolth. Playing a little wider. Siddons. dummies, goes through. Damien Worth has decided I'm the man that's going to follow him because there's been a few getting rewards for that. Quinlan bombs across.
Oh,
it
tap
comes back to Wood. Wood.
At least this time he's held onto the ball.
6 again, but
what's that for? Was it in the air?
No, I think there's just some
cries
of anguish.
It's called times
so
off.
I think Wood has actually hurt himself in this tackle, and the referee has immediately realised that he was in some pain, some discomfort, and has blown time off. We'll see on the replay to see if we can pick anything up. Perhaps the ankle just getting twisted and trapped there. The Bears player stayed down with some cramp as well. Shaywood Perry.
So what?
Back to his feet.
He motioned 6 again. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, so it was knocked down by the Bears. The Bears knocked on from the kick across field. So now the Sharks get another set. Tirona to Siddons. Siddons goes out to Worth. Worth goes wider. It's out with Lawton. Lawton gets wider still. The Bears, they get across. Now Bolth tries to just barge over. Short. Tirona to Lawton. Over the shoulder of Ramick. And what about the pickup from Waperi? He just had cramp a minute ago. Waperi's getting run down from behind by Lawton. Lawton gives chase. Tierney fires one across to Thompson. They go wider. Now it's with Gam. Gam out of tackles, tries to get the pass out the back. A bit of pressure on the back of the head there of Gam is the signal from Gudgeon. And the referee agrees. Crusher tackle. So it'll be a penalty for the Bears. Ryan Mills. 14 is out there. Shazuni is after resumption. Now with Kelly. Just a step. It's been well contained. That time Wood making the tackle. Camso across to Mills. Gudgeon. Too much speed there for Antonelli. And he puts a second next to his name. As the Bears, they really extend down the stretch. And they're pulling away from the Rockingham Sharks.
I don't know if that scoreline is completely reflective of the game. But it's circumstances like that. Some of their tries have just been way too easy. It's common. I think it's a combination of just, again, they've got so many playmakers in that last that can affect the game in that last 10, but you know, again, defensively, I think the Sharks, that's where they need to do most of their work, so they're just opening them up. But we've this is the second or third time we've been down here, Donna. Second time, I think. Third time? Jeepers, I don't know.
Second or third, yes.
Look, the Sharks in mine look better than last time, but we saw a game not long ago that was somewhat forgettable. So there's plenty here for them to build on.
Well, we talked a bit about last time about them being a young side that is developing and growing, and if they can keep the core together, then they will be a good side in years to come. Because part of that core group was Derek Jazuni. He swapped over to the Willagee Bears, so you know, keeping them together is not always an easy task when you are losing games. There's our first missed conversion. They have raised the bat though. They're up to 52 points to 18. About 6 minutes to go, and Gudgeon just got it on the outside there of Waylon Antonelli, who he didn't have the pace to go with Gudgeon, and the winger had to stay out on his man. We try and make you seasick on the coverage. And a mistake from the Bears. Well, it worked on them. It's made them dizzy, and they've come up with a mistake. Rockingham. Play a bit of backyard footy, bit of last try wins, perhaps.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Look, you always have to finish. You got to, regardless of what sport it is, regardless of where you single ladder, you got to start strong. You got to finish strong.
They didn't start strong. They conceded a try before they had the ball in hand. Mills tries to strip that from Lawton, and in the end, Lawton just drops it, and the referee rewards him. I think Mills was ripping at it, but Lawton still had the ball, and he made the choice to drop it in the end. Mills gives a bit of rough housing there on the ground. They're still trying to be very physical here, the Willagee Bears, as Hoff gets up to play it. Quinlan flat ball. Ramaka. Read well by Willagee. Torona out of dummy half, looking to spin over the line.
He's down.
I think he's got it down. Referee's looking to touch judges. He's going to point to the spot. Well, I think he's made a difference when he's come on. Rihari Torona, he's looked sharp in around the ruck. Got out there and just found just some tired big men. And
yeah, he's down just there.
Rolls it over, and referee happy that a piece of leather touched a piece of grass.
Well, again, we've still got after this kick probably 3 minutes, but they're not giving up. They're finishing. It'd be much better for them to go into the sheds at the end of the game with something positive. And you mentioned on them being a young team, and they've got to keep them together. And it's these things, especially as a coaching group, that I'm sure they're trying to work on, is making sure you can finish strong. You've got something to at least talk about, to build on.
Lawton knocks over the conversion. So 52-24. Scoreline at the moment. Around the grounds, courtesy of Cash Converters. In the reserve grade, the Val Murphy Trophy. The Kalamunda Bulldogs and the South Perth Lions, second versus fourth. It was the second place Bulldogs, 12-0 winners in that one. 44-6, the Fremantle Roosters beating the Joondalup Giants. The Bears had a good win over the Kwinana Titans, 38-20. That was 7th versus 8th. 38-18, Alkimos over the top of the table, North Beach Sea Eagles. That was a huge win for the Tigers. And Ellenbrook beating the Sharks just before this one kicked off, 48 points to 4. Now the Sharks looking to finish strong, but there's a strong shot from Michael Fotu. Flying over the top there came Tonga Mahuta. Swinging arm missed, making contact. That ball comes free. Stripped out, says the referee. And a bit of chat. Yeah, they told the referee what they thought of the decision. He's marched them 10. It was actually a very kind 10. I've seen a lot of occasions where a referee will march you, 15 or 20 when they march you 10.
Well, as a former referee, Don, is there a specific rule that it's got to be 10?
Well, it's
Like,
up to referees' discretion.
Well, there you go. Just like they thought I was a bit too much on that one, so I'll give you an extra 3 or 4. How's that? Oh,
Torona again out of dummy half. He's having a strong finish. Just scored the last try, and he's put them into a good position here. Worth to Siddons. Great tackle, Chizuni, right around the bootlaces. Worth, he goes from dummy half and gets there.
Well, it's not last try wins, Donny. It's last 2 tries win.
Well, they've had a good, strong finish, and as you say, something for them to take in to next week and beyond. I think any chance of playing finals has disappeared, but when you get into this sort of situation, you just want to be a thorn in the side of your opposition. We'll have the chance to be the thorn in the side of the informed Fremantle Roosters next week.
And look, I'm sure that's a conversation inside the sheds. You know, I mean, if I was coach, I'd be saying, "Look, boys, we're not going to play finals, but let's have an effect. Let's have an effect on finals, especially when they're playing at home." And they didn't really, you know, they need to not necessarily make it a fortress, but when teams come here, you know, really just be that niggle.
And waved away, so first missed conversion, Kieran Lawton, who had a decent day with the boot, but full-time score line 52 points to 28 in favour of the Willagee Bears over the Rockingham Sharks. Well, I don't think the result is going to be a big surprise, but I don't know that the Bears will be too happy with conceding 28 points despite running in a fairly comfortable win.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier in the call, I mean, they've just got the ability to create something from nothing. Some of those tries, again, we just came from first tackle. You know, some fantastic passes. That catch and pass one that just, you know, let in the former Sharky, just came from nothing. So, you know, those, when you look back on the tape, and I'm sure the coaching staff will be looking at it and pinpointing those areas, especially those circumstances early in the first half where they were just moving them up the ground with continued penalties. It took them a while to adjust to the referee as well. The referee set the standard early, and it took them a while for them to adjust to that. But they finished strong. Last two tries in the last, I think it was the last 4 minutes, Don. So they scored 10 points in 4 minutes. You know,
well, it gives them some momentum heading into next week. They take on, as I say, the informed Roosters. The Roosters 32-12 winners earlier today against the Joondalup Giants. And the other games next week, South Perth up against the Giants. The Lions looking to arrest a bit of a slide. They've gone down 44-6 to slip from top spot. Down into second. They want to try and arrest that slide against the Giants.
A big slip. Early in the year, I thought they might go through undefeated, but I haven't seen the game today, but having seen the game last week against the Roosters, they did not look like the Lions of the early in the season. Maybe they got a couple of personnel issues. Maybe the FIFO's got to them, but yeah, that's concerning when you go down that much against a team that is, you know, trying to pinch that top spot off you.
Absolutely, and the victors today, the Willagee Bears. This one should be a great clash up against the North Beach Sea Eagles. We've certainly got some games to look forward to next week and beyond as this season really begins to heat up. Thank you very much for joining us for this one from Franklin Offshore Stadium. It is the Willagee Bears beating the Rockingham Sharks 52 points to 28. We'll see you next week.